Now, health and jockeys. I mean, it's quite amazing that jockeys have this incredibly tough regime, and often, they're feeding on scraps of food just to keep the weight down. Emma, hardly ideal.
Absolutely, and they lead such a vigorous life as well. I mean, there are days when they can have 10 rides, and yet they can have to lose 5 pounds in a sauna before they even go racing. And the Irish were big on sort of taking up this story and trying to move things forward from a health point of view, weren't they?
Yeah, the research is going on at Dublin City University right now to look at how they can improve and help out the Irish jockeys. Meanwhile, their colleagues over at Liverpool have also taken up the challenge, as John Franken finds out.
Ask any jockey, flat or jumping, what's the biggest downside to their job, and they'll tell you that it's trying to keep their weight under control. So I've come here to the John Moore University in Liverpool. It's their Sports and Science Department, where Graham Close and George Wilson are looking into the balance between diet and exercise.
We've got a large project on the go at the moment where we're looking at the current practices that jockeys use to make weight and seeing if there's anything we can do to help them to get to the riding weight a little bit easier without the reliance on the sweating techniques that are commonplace.
OK, well, we've got Frankie Dettori coming in this morning. What's in store for him?
We're going to get some blood samples off Frankie and some urine. The urine, we're going to look at his hydration status, and we're going to store some urine down for further analysis. And the blood, we're going to look at general health screen, looking at some of the micronutrients, looking at some of the antioxidants, and we're also going to look at his vitamin D levels as well.
Frank, have you ever had anything like this done before?
No.
I mean, it's ridiculous when you think how long you've been riding.
But, you know, it's great. And plus, I mean, you know, I've been a jockey for...
Straight to me.
I've been a jockey for, you know, my 24th year this year. And I'm more, you know, obviously I've got my own routine. I know exactly what I have to do with my body, my fitness. But I'm interested to take it one step further to find out a bit more about myself. And, you know, if you can give me 2 or 3 extra years in the saddle, why not? So all these things can only help.
So just talk us through what's happening here with Frankie then, George.
Right, we're going to measure some energy expenditure from Frankie, doing some simulated race riding. Frankie, as you can see, is wearing a monitor here on his chest. It's called the ActiHeart monitor. It measures physical activity and it also measures his heart rate. So basically, it's going to tell us how much energy he uses doing this exercise that we're going to set him up to do.
What we're doing at the moment then is Frankie simulating riding in a race.
Yes, so just...
And this mask is telling you how he's converting the oxygen that he's breathing in, presumably.
In 5 seconds, can you start picking her up and start going? 3, 2, 1, OK, off you go. Flat out, everything you've got.
Come on, flat out, Frankie, come on. It's blue bunted.
Go on, Frankie. That's...
I can hear...
Keep it going, mate.
Kieran's coming.
20 seconds, Frankie.
I can hear him whistling.
Okay, bit harder work now. Coming up, last furlong. 5 seconds, Frankie.
2 more to jump.
3, 2, 1, and relax, and rest, and time. Relax, yeah. Just sit down, mate, and just sit in the saddle.
I'm gagged up.
Yeah.
So you'll see this figure changing, and this figure changes, and that changes, that shows that he's now burning more carbohydrates. If it goes to 1-0, that's generally burning wholly carbohydrates as opposed to burning fat. So now he's burning carbohydrates in recovery because that's known as anaerobic exercise. It's quite high intensity work. From this, we can also then find out how much energy he expended just doing that simulated race ride.
So Frankie's had the blood tests, he's been on the exercise machine. Now it's time for the most important part of the whole procedure. So Graham, George has had him on the exercise machine. What's he on now?
OK, so he's on what's called a DEXA scanner machine. This machine will basically take a scan of Frankie's body, and it will give us an accurate assessment of his body fat. It will tell us the total amount of fat he's carrying in kilograms. It will also tell us percent body fat. So from this image we can see obviously the skeleton, the bone, and then on the outside obviously this is a muscle mass. And then there's a very small grey area on the very outside, and this is where the body fat is.
Is there any brain in that?
No, there was no sign of that. There was no sign. He's enlarged it, so there's still no sign.
So Frankie's 12.2% body fat, which is...
that's good.
It's very good. You know, we said it up front, but we're looking it to be under 15.
That means
15 on's a bit
I
healthy.
can lose a bit.
Go and have a bacon sandwich. So who's the lightest person you've had in here? Any athlete?
Confidentially, I probably couldn't go into that detail, but it's not unusual to see Premiership football players at 8% body fat.
When you travel, from A to B, from B to C, you're doing 2 meetings, and you don't actually sit down for dinner at 7. You'll be still on the way back, or maybe going to another meeting, or on the way back. So you can't. It's very hard to starve yourself and have a proper meal till you get home. So you end up eating sandwiches or things that perhaps are good for you at the beginning, but are not good for you in the long term. And it's very hard to balance it, but you try to be as good as you can, but it's part of the job, and unfortunately we can't change the hours.
Yeah, quite interesting. I mean, you must have been on 1,000 different diets, haven't you, since you've been riding?
Absolutely. When you try different things, and in the end you stick on what works for you. Some of the lads run, some go in the sauna, some have a sweat in the bath. Everybody's got different what works for you, basically. But it's nice to have something like this that if they can improve your diet, or you can see what other part of your body you can work on, that it can only be good.
But it's what you said, it's changing your diet's the hard thing. When you're coming home from the races and there's 4 of you in the car and you stop at the petrol station, all there is chocolates, fizzy drinks and crisps. And what else are you going to have? So, and you know that it feels good, doesn't it? So it's difficult to change just
John,
to say we're going to peel an orange.
Is it actually harder for being a jockey having one ride every other day than having, I mean, obviously not 10 a day, but say 6 or 7 a day, because you can keep fit and keep at a level, but trying to maintain that level when you're only riding occasionally is hard, isn't it?
Well, I found it quite hard in April, because it was very much a stop and start month. I mean, now then we're going to race basically every day of the week, then we get into a nice routine and rhythm, and the weight stays off, But I always find the early part of the season the hardest, and then once we're up and running, that for your weight and your fitness, then you're not even killed. I guess like football players, early season they're a little bit rusty, but now that we're up and running, we're all okay.
But it's no different to people in the street when they're on a diet. If you're riding every day, if you're riding, you can't be eating.
Exercise is the best way of keep fit and lose weight. There is no other way about it.
And when do you get to a point, I mean, John, you'll have done the same because you hated wasting in saunas and things. When do you get to a point, what weight do you feel a bit queasy at? You'll get down to 8-9 and feel happy at 8-9, maybe 8-8. But what won't you do now that you used to do?
I'll be honest, I mean, 8-9 is where I pitch myself at. Obviously I can do 8-7 if a good ride comes along. But, I don't want to do any light at 8-9 because, I once in a blue mood, when I have to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But it does, takes a bit out of you. If you keep on doing it day in and day out, then you'll feel the effect after a couple of days. Because
you feel dizzy and bad-tempered.
Because Jim, you can do it once, but if you keep on doing it day in and day out, then eventually it catches up with you.
I mean, one of your biggest assets, you've never been a drinker of any shape or form, have you?
No,
but you didn't like dieting, did you?
But jockeys aren't different to anybody else. A lot of it is in the mind. You can sit down and have something to eat. The phone goes and somebody will ring you up for Frankie, saying, can you do 8-8 tomorrow? Immediately you feel hungry. If they hadn't phoned up, you wouldn't have eaten anything and you'd have been fine. As soon as they say 8-8, what can I eat?
Open your fridge.
I know. What can I eat that won't make me fat?